So, handstand. So if ever you're doubtful about your handstand, you could just play with it in different angles, right? So you lift your arms, you bring the shoulders back, kind of as if you were doing a leg raise or a chin-up, right? And then you bring your hands like this. And now watch, if you would flip me 180 degrees, or I would Photoshop a picture of this, I'd be in a handstand, right? So then you could even work out some abdominal exercises to help you with coming into handstand. So you could basically just lower down, engage the abs, come back up. You could do this for 10, 20, we're just gonna do it for 4 more, right? So lower, come back up, for 3, come back up, for 2, come back up, and for 1, come back up. So I'm gonna show you another angle you can work this handstand thing in, right? So you lie down, and again, like always, we work on imprinting the back on the mat. So here you come, bring the hands up, and lower, just engage the abs, which places you back into a modified handstand, if you ask me, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you want, you could bring the legs up for 5, 4. So this is a good warm-up, right? 3, 2, and 1. So now our abs are quite engaged, right? I want to show you one of my favorite exercises in the practice of handstands. So generally, a lot of people, when they come into handstands, they just jump up. That's cool, but in a way I find it cheating. Why? Because you're not really engaging the muscles that you need to come up hovering, and a lot of times, because you're jumping up, you don't necessarily know where you're going to land in space. When you're really using the abdomen, which I'll explain how in a second, you're going to land and stop exactly where you want. So I'll show you the jumping variation first. So you plant the hands, and you could jump 1 foot at a time, or opposite foot at a time. And in fact, if you're not confident coming into handstand, you can do this for a while, a few days, a few weeks. If you want to come jump into it all the way, you jump and you float up. Sometimes you're going to need to use your triceps to straighten up the arms. So this is the jumping version, right? Which is what I consider the cheating version. If you want a nice floating version, controlled version, what you want to do is spread the hands and practice walking forward and back. Forward and back. Eventually you'll get so much flexibility that you'll be walking forward and you'll be able to hover just a bit. So you want to take advantage of that micro hover as much as possible, right? So once you've mastered that micro hover, you could come in one of 2 ways, right? You open the legs and you walk them as close up as possible, so your feet are generally in a V and spread, arms as straight as possible, and you hover up, right? Try and straighten the legs, ankles together, and lift. Now, the other way is you walk forward. It's not as nice and it's a lot harder. And so again, you get that micro hover and you straighten up the legs. Essentially, you're performing 1 full upside down leg raise, right? We'll try staying here about 30 seconds. Breathe. Spread the fingers as much as possible. Focus on the abs. Continue focusing on your breath. Don't lose sight of your breath or you'll fall. And so the next thing you do, which I mentioned in an earlier video, you can either stay in handstand or you can mess around coming from crow pose to handstand, which is a very nice leg and ab workout. So we're just going to do it 2 or 3 times, right? So you come back into crow pose and you lift and hover the legs up, right? This is amazing for the arms and quads. Come back into crow pose and lift. Come back and lift. With all that cool stuff in mind, let's try our 2-minute wall handstand, right? Let's do it. Plant the hands. Hands and elbows and shoulders parallel. And let's jump into it. It's going to be a little bit boring to watch, but here goes, okay? Relax. Breathe. Do your best. Fill the abdomen with air. And make sure to breathe or you're going to feel a lot of compression in the ears. Also make sure not to eat before this or you get a little bit dizzy. It's not very fun. And try and find a certain relaxation in the pose. And so the reason the wrists, the elbows, and the shoulders need to be lined is because you're actually going to work a lot less than if everything's apart. So be patient, take your time. Stretch the neck out a little bit. We're officially at the 1 minute point. Smile if you could. It gets a little bit tense for you. And relax your breath. We're almost at the 1.5 point. Continue pushing your hands into the floor, right? Push, push, push. You're going to see that if you reach this far, your arms are going to start to shake a little bit. This is normal. Just persist a little bit longer. Just make sure there's no compression in the back and neck. Ten seconds left. Five seconds left. And we did it. Oh, that felt good.